I've been asked to explain the first point because first, there was one school of thought that felt that everybody in VSO Cambodia should be a volunteer, both at staff level and at program and project level. Then we went on and said, for continuity and consistency, it's not possible. Yeah? But what we need to do, just make the administration staff a little leaner. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, that was only point.
Hello everyone. I'm sorry. I'm a bit nervous right now. Okay.
You're losing your minute.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Just like Peter said, everything this might come out as weird, but everything of VSO as a company, we already have good product, we already have good service, but from a national volunteer standpoint, I think that VSO is lacking marketing, promotion. And we all have a lot of human resources. It's just like this morning, a lot of brilliant performers. See? Even on social. Okay, you know what I mean. Yeah, thank you.
So, in the name of the staff, I think that VSO, what we did is great already. But the thing is that everyday work is always have people always have the problem, volunteer have concern and staff also have concern as well. So, and the only time, maybe just a few times in the year that volunteer be able to raise their concern, to speak honestly about their concern or the problem that they have in the placement. So I think it's better if they can have volunteer representative or something one person stand for one voice for all the volunteer, and then that person can go to negotiate with the top level of the VSO so that the top level can hear all the concern from the volunteer. So that's what.
We just put on how do we design the organization. We just put one project that we call Cambodian Service Volunteering. That project we will focusing on the resourcing. Resourcing here we focus much with the local people. It's like local people here we will choose the people who working in the government sector or private sector who already retired. And they already retired with that skill and knowledge that they're working for many years. And for this time, we can take them to being a volunteer in that local and also maintain their values, added values of volunteer. Yeah.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit more confusing. So I'm representative from group number 4, and it's demonstrated by the pictures of the varieties of hands, big and small together. And this is a little bit more confusing. Is unknown. I'm trying to make it from the unknown to the from the demonstration of that. Well, let's go to the point that we are thinking of the approach that we want to propose as an idea, what we want to look at, the value added of volunteering in Cambodia and VSO for particular. We need hand support from, especially we're looking one modality, one approach that we want to nurture or to improve the capacity of the local volunteer to national volunteers to ensure that, for example, when international volunteers not go back, that kind of volunteer is not available, for example, the local volunteer, maybe just echo from the previous group, is the resource. It's a big resource that we can source from the countries around the country as the good resource to use and to implement through through various sectors. For example, education, health, governance, natural resource management, and so on and so forth. So this kind of collaboration is particularly want to build a partnership, especially want to improve or empower the local volunteers. Thank you.
Thank you.
this exercise question is quite strategic, and I think we see the way that they connect to what's here present. See the way that to enable this opportunity for collaborative or sharing knowledge for volunteer contribute to the country office or contribute to the cross-functional area. So we see that the way that volunteer not sticking to their current JD or current TOO or projects, so we see the way that volunteer can contribute to improve some of the functional in the country office, or volunteer can be discuss cross-disciplinary issue. So when you're working for education, you not only discuss focus on education, you can contribute to some of the governance issue or livelihood issue. So we see that the way is you can contribute to that. So how to enable this? So the first thing is everyone need to identify their potential or their skill, and so we looking into like we should have some kind of database or a system that can capture all this, and then you need to promote yourself. So you can promote this through the existing platform, or you have charter, you have SharePoint. In addition to this, I think we're looking into like a platform that are more user-friendly, and you can contribute this through Qualcomm. I think this is one of the mechanisms we have. This team retreat or ABC is one of the platforms that we can share the skill between each other. So this is the way that we see that we enable this to happen. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
1 minute.
Or two.
I will try. We have a 6 points that we want to present. The first one is add value of the volunteer. The first point is our presence in the community is being recognized. Because when I worked with the VSO in last 6 months ago, the villager don't call me to say hello teacher, but now.
Okay, but if you stay with your statement, no, let me explain, because you have a statement and then you explain. Maybe just use your statement and the explanation will maybe come tomorrow morning.
Second is develop and improvement. Sustainable. Build future leader of the country. Doing the passion out of the comfort zone. Positive behavior change. And the next one, how we design the organization is to be the most successful is the one is flexible and systematic and commit volunteer and human resource and sustainability of the project and partner and of government.
Well done.
Can I explain something?
1 minute.
Maybe I can just talk without mic. Okay, from my discussing in teams, we just find out some of information. From team, we thought that we need more care from BSO. And then we also need more care here is related to support, information providing, things like that. And then equality between staff and volunteer from this. Our team just saw that maybe some key of area that we can sync in between the volunteer and staff that need to be improved, and it is really much appreciated on that. And also providing capacity building to the volunteer and new staff, fully utilize management on information. From capacity building in here, but somehow within the new staff, if they are going to take on within a new role, we should find out what kind of the role that they are going to take on, and then what kind of the information that we need to be
train them. It is really good. It's really good. And some of the team members, they have also find that some of the technology, they also the problem as well, because the Salesforce, they don't actually know how to log into the Salesforce and use the Salesforce system. So this is also some kind of thing that you need to be trained to them as well. As somehow, as we are the person that know exactly what is Salesforce, it's no problem. But for the people that who don't eventually know what is the Salesforce, it is just a system. Okay, accept the finding that based on the Cambodian needs. I don't actually know what that means.
The last point is accept the fund that based on the Cambodian needs. That is mean you accept the fund from the funder that is based on the real situation of Cambodian needs, not based on the other country or not based on the need of the organization. That based on the community or the needs of Cambodian people. Yes.
Thank you.
Come in. Okay, I do mine. Okay, so I think because we don't have much time, we come up with a two main point and one little point. So I'm gonna go with the second point first, which is we come up with like focusing on capacity building to the local staff or to the national volunteer, rather than thinking about using international volunteer or volunteer to implement the project. Because I think we're facing a lot of challenge by using volunteer implementing the project, because somehow volunteer, we can be relaxed, we can be really strict to the project, we can say, oh, I want to achieve that project, or can achieve that indicator or not. It depends on us. We can be like do whatever we want, or we can early return, we can just quit from the role, and that's it. That's why I mean we should focus using the volunteer or capacity building to the volunteer or to the local staff or partner organization we're working with, rather than focusing on using volunteer to implementing the project by themselves. And that's what I mean. And if our team want to provide another input in that. And the third one is more clarity on the expectation of international volunteer and volunteer, national volunteer. Because so far, honestly, we're not really sure what is we expect to do. Sometimes I can give a little bit of example. We can only see ourselves that the team or our program team only see us as a language support, rather than encourage us to involve in project designing, project implementing, or planning, whatever. That's why we come up with need more clarification or clarity on our role. Also IB as well. And somehow IB maybe when we place the international volunteer organization or partner organization, the organization they might think that, oh, they will come and then have us do a fundraising, proposal writing, which is really not mentioned clearly at the first start before when we not starting the placement yet. That is need to be clarification before we go into placement. Okay.
VSO is very good at recruiting and managing volunteers, so that the experience is purposeful. The volunteers gain from it, the organisations they're placed with gain from it, and the communities they're trying to help gain from it. Lots of other NGOs do that as well, but not as effectively as VSO. VSO could have a role to play supporting and building the capacity of other organisations that use volunteers to do it more effectively so that everybody gains. Therefore, spreading the good practice that we see in the room today. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Can you see it?
Yes. Not all of us, but see.
Hello everyone. So my name is Lee Thai, and our group is about various and different ideas. Can you see this reality? So, okay, here is the volunteers in the middle. It's kind of the bridge. So, VSO staff and partner. So this is what we discussed. The VSO staff is like another part, and the volunteer is in the middle, and the partner is another side. So this is our ideas. We want volunteer and VSO staff and partner working together and to create this one. Can you see?
Yeah.
So this kind of thing is like the perfect example that we really want VSO to be like. I'm not going to talk about the pros and cons because we just want to make as it extreme as possible. So when we work together, what are the values that it added? So when we get this perfect scenario, okay, sorry. So it's about like we going to each other, and also we contributing to the individual, the building the skills that we have, and also together when we have this, how can you see the difference here? Like what are the things that we need to be done? For example, volunteer and VSO. What are the things that we can build to make more connections? How can we do it? So maybe we need some coordination here, and also volunteer and so if we have all this coordination, it would be more productive. And also, as some of the volunteers were saying that, like it's like he as a volunteer is like working another side, and the staff are there, and you know. So if we have that, we would have better mutual sharing of the ideas. And like one of the training that I attended before, how to create connection, is to call the community council, the volunteers and the staff there, and the staff actually going and share what are our purpose, so that the volunteer will not feel left out that I'm there alone. Yeah. So also one of the things that is really important, because we were thinking that volunteer would feel like the Cambodian volunteer, maybe some of them would feel like they're just the translator, for example. So what we can do better is to help them to really understand the responsibility that they have. For example, they are Cambodians, they're not just the translator, but they also really big part of the project. So everyone needs to understand the role and accountability. For example, volunteer, VSO and partner, like they have the accountability to respond, and yeah. So that's it. If you have any questions, then feel free to ask.